Welcome to 5 Good Minutes. You're listening to today's inspirational message on the fruit of the Spirit with Brady Randall.
Over these last several weeks, we have been looking at the fruit of the Spirit, and this week we are looking at kindness. And over this week, I want to look at the fruit of kindness, the root of kindness, the goal of kindness, the difficulty of kindness, and the experience of kindness as we see laid out in the Scriptures. And today we're going to talk about the fruit of kindness that we read about in Galatians 5. And let me just say a general word about the fruit of the Spirit. If we're not careful, we can view this list as a list of virtues to check off, sort of in a religious way. And this is not a to-do list per se. The word fruit here is singular, meaning that all of these are a part of the Spirit's work to bring us more into the image of Christ. The Christian has a role to play, but it is ultimately the Spirit's work to bring about this fruit, including kindness. And all of these virtues that the Spirit produces in Jesus' children grow together, though not always at the same pace. And this word fruit obviously is an agricultural metaphor, which one of the things it shows us is that growth is gradual. And fruit is evidence that we actually belong to Jesus. Now, I don't know what you first think about when you hear that a fruit of the Spirit is kindness, for example. I remember that my son at the beginning of this school year said that the teacher laid out a set of rules, and one of the biggest rules was to be kind toward one another. And the way that he said it to me, it was kind of like, okay, gag me. Like, yeah, we should just be kind to everyone. And let's be kind to one another. It kind of sounds like we're in kindergarten, if we're being honest. And maybe that's what you think about when you hear the term kindness. Maybe you think about a kind of niceness. But let me ask you this. Whether you're a Christ follower or not, when you think of people who call themselves Christians, do you generally think of them as kind? Is that one of the first words that comes to mind? If we're being honest, one of the reasons that many people say no thanks to Christianity is because many of the people who claim to be followers of Jesus are anything but kind. They may be harsh or critical or judgmental. Rosaria Butterfield was a tenured professor of English studies and women's studies at the University of Syracuse, and she was a non-Christian and she was living in a lesbian lifestyle. And she says that she was researching the religious right and their hatred of people like her. And she wrote an article to an organization called Promise Keepers, and to her surprise, a Presbyterian pastor responded to that article and began to meet with Rosaria over the next season. And what she says is that it was him and his wife's genuine kindness that ultimately opened her heart to Jesus, and she eventually converted to Christianity. The fruit of kindness is the Greek word Christotes. This is not a surface-level kindness. Rather, this is a word that has its roots and describes moral character as well as good soil. This is a quality that fosters positive outcomes or interactions meant to serve others. And this comes from having a deep inner security found in Christ. It's supernatural. And it's a generous orientation of our hearts towards others, even and especially for those who don't deserve it. Author Christian Chung said it like this: kindness is loving people the extra mile. And this kind of quality doesn't do so in order to get, but rather it doesn't expect anything in return. And I just wonder, have you ever experienced this kind of kindness? If you have, or if you did, what kind of impact did or could this have made on you? I just think that this is so rare in our world today that it's bound to make a person stand out when they show this kind of kindness. And this is the kind of kindness that you know it when you see it. When I was on a trip to Israel with a group of Christians from Pittsburgh, we were received by a group of Palestinian Christians, and I remember being so overwhelmed with their kindness to us as complete strangers. We were welcomed into our homes, their church, their lives, and whatever was theirs was ours. This was a kindness that transcended our culture and ethnicity and was a tangible reminder to me of the character of Jesus himself. And so would you join me in praying that God would manifest this kind of fruit in your life and mine?
Thanks for joining us here today. There's a lot of great content to explore on Orchard Hill Plus and on the Orchard Hill main feed from the weekend. Have a great day.